Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 377 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I hope this finds you happy and healthy and heading in the right direction. No matter where you are right now, I hope you're on a path that takes you to where you want to be. Okay, so how many of you have heard someone say, well, that's just me. That's just how I am. Or, I'm not dressing like that. I'm not dressing up. That's not me. When I hear someone say that, I think, but there are so many layers to you. And embracing those layers and expanding the way you view yourself allows for so much fun and new experiences and growth if you let it. Sometimes people identify with being one way and only one way, but in my opinion, they're really selling themselves short because there's so much more than one way. Every single one of us is multifaceted, and embracing that allows you to be the best version of you in every single scenario. When Molly, my baby sister, was young, just starting college, she wanted to just be herself no matter where she was. She kind of was born that way. And sometimes she would say things in front of adults or maybe our parents that wasn't exactly appropriate. So one day Eric sat her down. He wanted to talk to her about it. And she said, well, that's just who I am. That's me. I'm being myself. And he explained that, okay, well, we all have varying versions of ourselves and we wear different hats on different occasions. When Molly is around our parents, the version of her that's respectful and doesn't use language that offends is the one that's appropriate. Just like when she shows up for an interview. It's not that she can't be herself. She just needs to dig into the version of herself that's appropriate for that occasion. The thing about being yourself is you get to wear different hats. It's not that you're not being authentic when you put on a different hat or play a different role. You're actually showing that you're multifaceted. There are different versions of you that are authentic to any occasion. Authentic in a way that only you can do, that supports you and creates the life that you were meant to live. If you were only one way all the time, that feels kind of shallow, doesn't it? There's not a lot of depth to that. And let's face it, it could cause problems. Like Molly, when she was younger, saying things that weren't appropriate in front of our parents. That it's uncomfortable for everyone, including her, even though at the time she would never admit it. Now, she has since become a master at this, and it serves her very, very well. She has certain roles where she's in the operating room working with surgeons, or a role where she's with her husband's parents, or her boss, or she has a very different role when she's hanging out with me. We laugh more together than anyone else. But some of those things that we laugh about, my parents would not find funny at all. So we wouldn't include them in that conversation. And that's okay. We all have different versions of ourselves. Take me, for instance. I have different versions of myself, for instance, that are appropriate with my husband, but wouldn't be appropriate with another man or who is maybe a friend or a client. It's not that I'm not being authentic. I'm just being the version of me that's appropriate for the occasion or for the relationship. I recognize and value that being multifaceted, it serves me, but it also protects me. It doesn't mean I'm inauthentic. The people that do the best in life know this very, very well. One of my favorite words, and has actually been my word of the year before, it's authenticity. I want things in my life to be authentic. I think most of us do. So if you cringe when you hear me say that to be different in different settings is appropriate, thinking that I'm encouraging you to put on an act, it's actually quite the opposite. I'm encouraging to be more of who you are. The key is to show up as you, but being the best version of you for that occasion. Putting your best foot forward. So let's just say you and your husband have children and you also work full time. So you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a coworker, maybe a boss. You have a lot of different hats that you wear every single day. But where it gets tricky, though, is when you show up with your husband and maybe you're still in boss mode. Or you show up with your kids and you're still in, say, a coworker role. Or you show up with your coworkers and you're still in mom role. Not every version of you is appropriate for every occasion. And that's just on a personal level. But what about the bigger picture? Just because society is currently in an anything goes stage, it doesn't mean we have to play along. We all know there's appropriate dress and dress that isn't appropriate, right? When Kate Middleton got married, she wore the most gorgeous wedding dress. It was so appropriate for the occasion. But if she showed up in a wedding dress to hang out at the beach, people would look at her like she's lost her mind. But more importantly, she would be uncomfortable and feel very awkward. She can do it, of course, but is it the best version of her for the occasion? No. I just saw a picture of her recently. That's why I was using her as an example. And now that's an obvious extreme example, but we know how we want to be, and that's the best version of us. You want to put your best foot forward, and that not only includes dress, but also how you show up. Now, I think some of us have forgotten this. Well, not you and me, because we're always working on being the best versions of ourselves. But we do see a lot of society today lack standards of any kind. And if we aren't careful, we could let our standards lower without realizing it. I mean, when you have a nagging feeling that the outfit you're considering isn't appropriate enough, it probably isn't. When you have a nagging feeling that what you're about to say is not appropriate, it probably is best left unsaid. And this is not being inauthentic. It's showing up as the best version of you. We can be authentic and our best in every single scenario. It just may look a little different. So people want to say, well, be you. And I totally agree with that. But saying that you have to be one way in order to be you, you don't. I mean, that's not, you can be different versions of yourself and still be authentic. Saying that it's different is self-limiting. You're multifaceted for a reason. I mean, that's part of what makes you unique. No one can show up in any scenario like you. So you being you, regardless of the role you're playing or the hat you're wearing, is truly authentic. And your ability to display the different versions of you without having to hold so tight to a certain way opens new doors. The real question isn't, is it okay to be yourself on any occasion? Of course it's okay to be yourself. The real question, though, and the one that will come up with the best answer, is who do I want to be in this scenario? How do I want to show up? And how does the best version of me look for this occasion? Those questions, if you answer them honestly and carefully, will never fail to show you a path to putting your best foot forward on every occasion, because you are multifaceted and deep down, you know how you want to show up. Sometimes it may be a little more work than you want to put in, but don't you want to be part of those that raise the standards? I do, because our society is craving it and it needs it. My challenge to you today is to raise the standards by showing up as the very best version of yourself every single time and every single occasion. You are always going to be you. No one else can take your place or even come close. But be the version of you that little nagging voice would be proud of. Not everyone will notice, but the most important person around will, and that's you. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.